South African tourism needs every win it can get to boost growth in the sector and to remove or mitigate barriers to would-be travellers that are coming to visit the country. The tourism sector is collaborating with key role players to accelerate recovery. To tell us more about what's afoot, we're joined by Global PR, Communications and Stakeholder Relations GM Thandiwe Mathibela. Good evening and welcome to you, Thandiwe. What delights await travellers, both domestic and foreign, in our leisure, business and event spaces?
Good evening, Iman, and good evening to all the viewers out there. It is a long weekend, obviously, for us as a tourism sector. That excites us a lot because it means people have an opportunity to go travel, visit family and friends, and obviously go and experience those tourism experiences and attractions that are out there. So for us, we know that as a tourism sector, we've got a lot to offer. We know that also the world is starting to come back to us. People love our wide open spaces. They're telling us that people like our beaches. So it really is exciting that we're actually in a position to welcome people from all over the world during this Easter season.
Have any of the previous restrictions around water integrity, flood damage, and some of the effects on some of our beauty spots around the country with regard to inclement weather, has that sort of cast a little bit of a shadow on what's available, and has that kind of kept people away a little bit?
Certainly, people do get concerned from all reports that they have, whether it is E. coli that is cited to be at, in the beaches in KZN, or any other hindrance that may seem to be interfering with their experience. So certainly we've received quite a few inquiries around that. But people, especially domestic travelers, have continued to explore our country. We know that we've grown tremendously. In fact, from a domestic tourism perspective, we've actually even already surpassed our COVID numbers. And we also know that from an international perspective, we've grown by about 157%, which is a really great deal for us because we are really quite encouraged, and we are looking forward at growing our numbers all the way to pre-COVID numbers. That is, in fact, what our tourism sector recovery plan is all about. We said we're going to start growing from domestically, and then we're going to extend onto the rest of the African continent, all the way up until international arrivals. We already receive in excess of 70% of our arrivals are coming from the rest of the continent. Certainly, while people express concern around certain reports that they see, they have not stopped coming.
And that's really encouraging to hear. Share a little bit more on the tourism sector recovery plan, and specifically that partnership with luxury German car brand BMW.
The tourism sector recovery plan is one that we penned when lockdown came upon all of us across the world. It was about how do we recover post the COVID-19 pandemic, because as we know, the tourism sector was devastated by this pandemic because it really was about restriction of movement, which is really what our business is about. So what we had planned together with the sector was South African Tourism, the Department of Tourism, as well as the private sector, including the Tourism Business Council of South Africa. We all clubbed together to say, well, how do we then recover post the COVID-19 pandemic? And we had obviously identified that domestic was the first place we're going to do so, because at least South Africans could travel their own country. And we've seen those results. We've also seen the results around, the rest of the African continent, because we are such a Pan-African destination. We already hosted our trade show, a Pan-African trade show, which focused on the business events industry. That was in February. We are now looking ahead at Africa's Travel Indaba, which is also another big platform for us. It's one of the top 3 global trade shows in the world, where we again use it to showcase the rest of the African continent. And of course, as we do so, we bring forth our smaller businesses, we bring forth our women-owned establishments, we bring forth our Black-owned establishments, because that is what it is all about. It is about an equitable, inclusive economy. That is what the tourism sector recovery is about. And it's about everybody in the sector taking interest in ensuring that we really grow. In terms of the partnership with the luxury brand that you've mentioned, we are looking at different ways, innovative ways of actually getting audiences to come, or getting travelers to come to South Africa. And we know that golf is a very important sport, and that it's one that has got avid followers. People will travel the world over, to follow golf tournaments. So as South African Tourism, we've partnered with BMW. They will be having a golf a championship all the way out in Munich, where we will be out there also, working with various trade partners, packaging, attractive packages for them to come and visit South Africa. And then in February next year, at one of our very luxury golf estates, we will then be hosting the BMW Golf, which is a very popular tournament, and we're really excited about this. Germany is a source market for us. It's one of our top 3 source markets. We know that we've also been plagued by a few challenges, and this is what we're doing in the market to say we still want to invest in the market. We still want to partner with people in the market, and we certainly keep our arms wide open to welcome all those German tourists and actually tourists that are coming from beyond.
Air China, this is the national flag carrier for the People's Republic of China, resumes flights to South Africa. The Beijing, Shenzhen, Johannesburg flight is back 3 times a week. What is the immediate impact of this likely to be on the tourism sector?
The immediate impact is for us to actually see an increase in arrival numbers, because we all know that China was closed for a while, and in fact it was closed for 3 years. It's one of the last markets to open up, allowing its people to go and visit other parts of the world. And we know that China has got a lot of people, and these are people that could come to South Africa. We are very excited about the fact that we now can receive this direct flight. What we also know is that South Africa will be hosting the BRICS Summit come August this year, and having a direct flight from China certainly helps that cause. We also know that this is important for the trade, because China is a big trading partner of South Africa. So the immediate effects can be felt, and we really are so excited that we can once again showcase our culture and heritage to all those Chinese travelers that have expressed that they're really intrigued and interested in our offering.
Thandiwe, I want to go back as we close to a really important point that you touched on at the beginning, and this is around building an inclusive tourism sector economy, especially for women, Black-owned enterprises. Just share with us some of the tangible opportunities that are available for players in the sector. A lot of them suffered quite badly throughout COVID. Some have not recovered, but some have and could really do with the extra business. How are they being brought in?
On a very positive note is that we've also seen quite new and innovative experiences coming up post-COVID-19. So all has not been lost, but certainly we have seen some businesses fold, and that is really unfortunate. As a tourism entity, South African Tourism, because it is our mandate to market our country, one of the things that we do is that we go across different trade shows as much as we host and stage our own trade shows. And how we then do that is that we make sure that we bring on board smaller businesses to come with us to the various trade shows that we do so that they can get market access. And we are actually in the process of finalizing our plans for the year. In fact, we've just finalized our plans for the year ahead. And in everything that we do, we make sure that an economic impact on either smaller businesses, Black-owned businesses, or women-owned businesses is one of the criteria that we use as we choose which projects we undertake. That is, again, one of the ways that we are then implementing to make sure that we bring on board the smaller businesses. These are people that feed a lot of families. These are people that offer unique experiences that you will not get anywhere else in the world. And these are certainly people that we are very eager and very committed to take along with us as we again all work towards growing our sector according to the Tourism Sector Recovery Plan.
Thandiwe Mathibela, thank you very much for your time this evening. Appreciate it.